Welcome to easyodds.com and The Lounge, which we're not in today. We're actually in the studio. It's a long time since we've been in a lounge, isn't it?
I'd say technically we've never been in a lounge. We just like to.
But imagination...
It used to be easier when there was no video.
Yeah.
We could just say, oh, look at the coffee.
Imagination's a wonderful thing. Welcome to The Lounge with a whole host of betting opportunities for the weekend. Reality TV, NFL reaches its peak this weekend as well. Football, horse racing, you name it, we have it. Don't forget, of course, to have a look at the Premier League videocast on easyodds.com, where Tom the Power goes mad and Simon Blueblood Hopper remains nice and steady. He is the rock, he's conservative, whereas Tom the Power is, what's the name of that political party, the new party?
The Monster Red Moon.
No. Yeah, he's more UKIP, Tom. He probably isn't actually. I'm just attaching
you
labels.
You could just say liberal.
Yeah, liberal.
That has a double meaning.
He's not really liberal.
Come on.
He doesn't. It's not. He can't be liberal because he stands for something. Okay.
Should we move on, Paul?
I know. Shall we not play political games, cast aspersions, whatever that means, because I can't spell it. Let's kick off. Yes, kick off. What a good link. A bit of Football League. Some tremendous matches this weekend. I had a look at League 2, Burton versus Bury's a cracker.
Big game, yeah.
Friday night in the Championship, Bournemouth still flying high against Watford. Arguably the best team away from home in the Championship. But you have something else hidden up your sleeve.
I do, yeah. I like the look of Mick McCarthy not for the first time in my life.
That's right. You also need an eye test. There's a problem there.
Ipswich at the moment have hit a bit of a wobble. They've actually only won one in their last 5, which isn't great for a team hunting promotion. But fortunately for them, in town this weekend are Wigan, who are absolutely awful. 2 wins in 23 is not a good run of scores for any side, let least a team who just a few years ago were FA Cup winners.
Yeah, surprising.
They've got Marky Mackay in charge now, and he hasn't been able to turn the tide. And they've actually this week sold 4 key players. Callum McManaman, Adam Forshaw, Sean Maloney and Ben Watson have all exited the DW Stadium, and they're left with a pretty short squad to face a team who have won 9 of their 14 home games. So at 4-5, I think is a decent price for the Tractor Boys to roll over Wigan.
Yeah, you very rarely go odds on, do you, as well?
I know, yeah. It's just something that I'm pretty confident about. So.
Yeah. How's Leeds doing at the moment? Your faithful Leeds, they sort of like just hanging in there?
One the other day against Bournemouth.
Massive game this weekend against Huddersfield.
Well,
big derby. Big derby.
The team doing okay on the pitch, but their owner, well, the least said about that, the better. Massimo Ravioli, whatever his name is. Right, let's do the. I mean, without a shadow of a doubt, this is one of the biggest sporting events of the year. It comes at the beginning of the year after a long, hard season. It is, of course, Superbowl. It's in Arizona this year, between the current and reigning champion Seattle Seahawks against the pride of the AFC, which is the New England Patriots. And Lord Dunkers, who literally lives and breathes college football as well as NFL, has been having a look at this really closely, and the cream has risen to the top, hasn't it?
Well, I've actually finally, for the first time ever, spoke to Jeff Baccarat the other day, and we're actually of the same opinion. He, of course, put up Seattle at 6-1 at the start of the season. I think Seattle will win the Super Bowl.
That's very confident.
It's an even bigger game than Ipswich Wigan this weekend, and not often I say that. Seattle's comeback against Green Bay last time was one of the most incredible comebacks I've ever seen in playoff history.
Amazing.
They were terrible. Put simply, they were awful in the first half. They let Green Bay run all over them. But Wilson, who had a terrible game, managed a 2-point conversion. In 2 minutes, they went from being a double-figure score down to suddenly being 3 points up, and then conceded a late field goal, which took it to overtime. And then an amazing pass from Wilson, brilliant touchdown. They look. I think that will be the kickstart for them. The point where they think, that was very close. We need to get our act together. They've been surprisingly muted in media day, in the media days running up to this, which makes me think they're very focused I think if they win, it's going to be by at least 2 points. So -1.5 at evens I think is a great selection. New England beat a Colts side who I don't really rate, to be honest. I don't care if they beat them by 40 points. They're going to face a real team in Seattle this time. I think Seattle to cover the 1.5 spread for at evens, and Russell Wilson to get MVP.
There you go. Combine Ipswich at 4 to 5, with Seattle on the handicap, -1.5 at even money, and you'll be well on your way.
You'll be laughing.
Well, you will be, you know, it's better than putting your money in the bank account at the moment, isn't it? That's for sure. What a load of rubbish that is. Here's your treble. It'll be a bigger price, about 5 to 1, 220 at Lingfield, and a pretty poor handicap on Saturday. Lugini, who's now 9 years of age, was a bit unlucky last time out when he finished 5th. He didn't get much of a run in the closing stages. He's down to a winning mark. It's an awful race. I'll be very disappointed if he is not, at the very least, in the 3. Now, it'll be a tragedy if Keith Chegwin isn't in the final 3 for Celebrity Big Brother, because he is, without a shadow of a doubt, the nicest man in the house. But as always, all the focus is on beauty rather than the beast. And the gorgeous Katie Hopkins is favourite. No, she's not actually gorgeous. She is favourite at odds on, which is ridiculous.
Odds on in a 9-field race with a week and a half left is a bit mad, isn't it? When you've seen the craziness that have happened in the house, you've had a lot of people thrown out for reasons that they shouldn't be doing things, and you've had people making a pig's ear of their previous popularity. So can Katie Hopkins put a foot in it, which is pretty much her job, really, isn't it?
She could probably get a whole foot in her mouth. So big is that trap door of hers.
Yeah,
for sure. But her whole leg. Yes, well, it's got the whole hog.
But oddly enough, the person who seemed to deride mostly negative attention is apparently about to win a popularity contest, which is classic Big Brother, really, when you look at the likes of Jim Davison winning this show, someone who was kind of last century, really, in his views and his humour, but he won around the public last year, this time last year it was actually, and in the summer Helen Wood won, who, if you watch the show you'll remember she was quite a horrible woman, and Katie Hopkins, whilst she's kind of passive in the way that she kind of is mean to people.
Sly.
She's a little bit sly, yeah, but people seem to like that, and people seem to say things like she's only saying the things that everyone thinks and this sort of thing. But I would like to think that Keith Chegwin or someone of that ilk is more widely liked than Katie Hopkins, but according to the betting, he's not. But there's some huge drifts. Keith was 3 to 1 joint favourite, and now he's out to 13 to 2. So if you're a Keith fan and you think that you can pull through, I think that's a pretty good price, 13 to 2, because a lot of people would have been backing him at 3 to 1, and now it's a much bigger price. And then we've got other people in the market who have had huge drifts or shortenings, and shortenings is Perez, the man who, let's face it, is possibly the most annoying person in the house, but he is quite entertaining. He's gone from 66 to 1, shortened all the way down to 10 to 1, Paul, which is a bit of a surprise, really. But
what a horrible man.
But then you've got some big drifts as well. You've got Michelle, who was a big favourite at 4 to 1 near the start of the show, but has drifted out to 25 to 1, and I think that's because she's become a bit of Katie Hopkins' lackey a little bit. Rather than showing off her own personality, she's kind of staying behind Katie and saying, yeah, what she said, kind of thing. And that's not great for the show. So I honestly think that Katie probably will win the show, judging by the previous winners. She seems to fit the trend. But if you've got a few pennies to spare on anyone else in the market, there's some huge prices out there, and I think that Katie Price, Keith Chegwin and Perez are all in with a shout, and they're at 10 to 1, 15 to 2 and 13 to 2 respectively.
And Rossi, very quickly, we're doing this recording on a Thursday late afternoon. Of course, Bristol City got a chance to get to Wembley. Are we all going to Wembley? Is it going to happen?
I'd love for everyone to come to Wembley, but I'm not paying for it.
Let's go to Wembley. Let's play £9 for a pint and $7.50 for a burger. Why not? And enjoy the lush Bristol City lifting a trophy.
Well, it's about time, isn't it?
That's the lounge for another week. We're on our way. Where are we going? We're going back into the office to do more work. Yes, we do. We do like to be slaves here at easyodds.com.